Hello, students, and welcome to our math lesson. Today we will be dividing fractions again. We'll start with our do now, and we will respond thoughtfully to a question about understanding others. I guess that's opposed to understanding ourselves, and we'll talk about why that's important. For our objective today, we will continue dividing fractions, and our essential questions ask, how can I divide a fraction by a whole number? Or what steps should I take to divide fractions? Our assignment will be to watch this video and complete 2 assigned pages. Our exit ticket requires us to complete this sentence. When dividing a fraction by a whole number, I must convert the whole number to a fraction by giving it a blank of 1. So we'll talk about that. For our homework, please finish up anything that you did not complete in class. And an important note is we do have a couple of new people to our class. So we want to make sure that you have a copy of the notes. So please make yourself known in class or send me an email. Let's make arrangements for you to pick up those notes or us to get them to you. I want you to know that we do our do nows and our exit tickets in teams, but our math work is completed on paper notes. And if you don't have those notes yet, I hope you have just some notebook paper or something that you can use to copy down the problems. So we do have a picture for today, and Maya Angelou was a famous poet. She was a poet laureate for the United States, and she had a very fascinating life. If you don't know anything about Maya Angelou, I have encouraged you to read a biography about her, or learn about her. But she said, "Be present in all things and thankful for all things." And she was a real example of that. She had a lot of adversity in her life, but she grew to be a person who was very thankful for much, and a wonderful woman. And again, I encourage you to learn more about Maya Angelou. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. So let's go on to our do now. So our do now asks the question, Dr. Stephen Covey, who was he also has passed away, but he was very famous for his book on the 7 habits of highly effective people. And his son, Sean Covey, went on to write a book about the 7 habits of highly effective teens. And I encourage you to get that book and read it and make those 7 habits part of your life. But the father, Dr. Stephen Covey, has said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. And what does that mean? And I suspect it has quite a bit to do with listening skills and understanding and listening to others before you think about what you need to say, and what you need them to know about you. And but I encourage you to think about that. What does that mean? And write about that in your journals. Okay, so let's go on to the rest of our lesson. This is our exit ticket. When dividing a fraction by a whole number, I must convert the whole number to a fraction by giving it a what of 1, and we will come back to that. So let's go to our first problems of the day. Again, we're dividing fractions. This is a little extra practice. The quotient, students, is the answer that we get when we divide. So in the first case, we have a whole number being divided by a fraction. So we know that in order to divide a fraction by a whole number, this easy trick we have is to just put it over a denominator of 1. Now, when we divide fractions, we keep the first fraction, and then we multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3 over 1 is 1/3. We look to see if we can cross-cancel in anywhere in this problem by comparing the numerator of 1 fraction with the denominator of the other, and then going ahead and doing that with the other numerator and denominator. But in this case, we do not have any opportunities to cross simplify. So we will just multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 times 3 is 18. And 2 and 18 are both divisible by 2. So when we divide them both by 2, we end up with 1/9, and that is a final simplified answer. So again, 2/4 divided by 10 over 1, and in this case, we can cross cancel. So 4 is divisible by 2, as is 10. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. And, oops, what did we forget to do? We forgot to take our steps. Hold on a minute. I'm going a little too fast, and I was distracted by the mail that I got. Let me finish writing this. Okay, let's get back and let's slow down. Sorry about that. Divided by 10 over 1, then it's 2/4 times 1/10. Now we are going to cross simplify. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 4 is 20th. Don't speed up and try to do these too fast like I just did. Even the math teacher makes mistakes. So here, let's rewrite this. It's 1/6 divided by 2 over 1. We will keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, multiply by the reciprocal. There's no cross simplifying we can do. 1 times 1 is 1, and 6 times 2 is 12, and that is a final answer. So far, so good. We'll have some more challenging ones. So, number 4. So why don't you try 4, 5, and 6 on your own and see how you do, and then come back to the video. Okay, I hope you tried those on your own. First, we'll rewrite with a denominator of 1, because we have a whole number in that 9. Then we'll rewrite as multiplication by multiplying by the reciprocal. 1 times 1 is 1. 9 times 2 is 18. Number 5, we will rewrite the division first with a denominator of 1 on that whole number. Then we will rewrite the problem as multiplying by the reciprocal. Now here we can definitely simplify. 5 divided by 5 is, oops, hold on. Fix that again. 2/5 divided by 1/2. Okay, now we're going to cross cancel. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 1 is 5. And that's the final answer. Number 6, 1/5 divided by 5 over 1. Now we will keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and we will multiply by the reciprocal of this. So that would be 1/5. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, number 7. 1/2 divided by 3 over 1. Now we will rewrite it as multiplying by the reciprocal. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Let's go on to number 8, 9, and 10. I'd like you to try those on your own and then come back. Okay, let's see how you did. So in this case, we don't have whole numbers. We do have to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So 1/3 times 2 over 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6, excuse me. And we can simplify that because 2 and 6 are both divisible by 2 for a final answer of 1/3. Okay, so 7/8 times 5 over 3. There's no cross simplifying we can do, so we will just multiply across. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 3 is 24. And we have an improper fraction here. So 24 into 35 goes one time with 11/24 left over. And that is our final simplified answer. Next problem, 1/5 times the reciprocal, which is 10 over 6. And we can cross simplify. 5 goes into itself one time and goes into 10 two times. So multiplying across, 2 times 1 is 2, 6 times 1 is 6. Both of those numbers are divisible by 2 for a final answer of 1/3. Okay, so try 11, 12, 13, and 14, and then come back to the video. Okay, I've gone with a different color now. Let's see how you did. 2/5 times 9 over 2. We can simplify. 2 is divisible by itself one time. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 5 is 5. If we divide 9 by 5, it goes in there one time with 4/5 left over. And that is our final answer. Now, number 12, 5/6 times 10 over 1. And 6 and 10 are both divisible by 2. Smaller numbers are better numbers. 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 1 is 3. Let's simplify that improper fraction by dividing 25 by 3. We know that 8 times 3 is 24. So our final answer is 8 and 1/3. Number 13, 1/4. Multiplied by the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3 over 2. There's no cross simplification we can do, so we'll multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8, and that is a simplified final answer. And for our last problem, 1/8 times the reciprocal of 7/10, which is 10 over 7. We see that we can divide both 8 and 10 are divisible by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 7 times 4 is 28. And that is a final answer. So let's go on to our next page. We do some error analysis. So we're going to find the error in each one of these problems. So number 1, let's take a look at what we've got here. We have 2/6 divided by 4. They've rewritten it as 2/6 divided by 1/4. This is the error. it should be 2 6 divided by, we just put a 1 under the 4. Okay, then we do the multiplying by the reciprocal. And we can cross simplify because both those numbers are divisible by 2, which will give us 1/12. Number 2, 4/9 divided by 3, okay. 4/9 divided by 3/1, that's okay. Now, let's see what they've done here. They've done 4/9 times 3/1. They did not flip this. So let's do that now. So we've got 4/9 divided by 3/1, which we rewrite as 4/9 times 1/3, which will give us 4/27, which cannot be simplified. Number 3, let's see what they've done here. 2/3 divided by 2. Okay, so it should be 2/1, and they put 2/2. So there's our mistake. Let's redo this. 2/3 divided by 2/1, which we rewrite as multiplying by the reciprocal, which is 1/2. Now it looks like we can really simplify here. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. So 1/3 is our final answer. Okay, let's see. Number 4, we have 7/10 divided by 5/7, which they rewrote as 7/10 divided by 7/5. No, 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 no. This should be multiplication. 7/10 times the reciprocal of 5/7, which is 7/5. We cannot cross cancel anything, so we're just going to have to multiply across. 7 times 7 is 49. 10 times 5 is 50. And that is a final answer. And number 6. So try 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on your own. Okay, I hope you tried those on your own. Number 6, 3/2 divided by 1/5 should be 3/2 times 5/1. They did not flip. Let's do that. 3/2 divided by 1/5 is rewritten as 3/2 times 5/1. We cannot simplify anything, so we'll have 15/2. And that's an improper fraction, so 15 divided by 2 is 7 1/2. Okay, let's see. 5/4 divided by 3/4 is 5 divided by 3, 4 divided by 4, 5/3/1. Okay, this is actually just a different method of doing it. Let's work it out the way we've learned it. We've got 5/4 divided by 3/4, which we will rewrite as 5/4 times 4/3. And we can cross simplify these 4s as 1s, which gives us 5/3. So the answer was correct, and they just used a different method. Let's move on to 8. So we have 1/2 divided by 3/12. So instead, they did 3 divided by 1 and 12 divided by 2. Okay, they did not flip or multiply, so let's redo this. we should have 1/2 divided by 3/12, which we rewrite as 1/2 times 12 over 3. And we can simplify. 2 goes into itself 1 time and into 12 6 times. 6 times 1 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. And 6 divided by 3 equals 2 for a final answer. Number 9. I think I see the problem already. This should be 3/8 divided by 8 over 1. And when we rewrite it, it should be 3/8 times 1 over 8. They did not flip and multiply. So multiplying straight across, 3 times 1 is 3, 8 times 8 is 64, and that is a final answer. And now our last problem. 4/6 divided by 1/6 should be 4/6 divided by 1/6 divided by 6. Let's check this. 4/6 divided by 1/6. We rewrite as 4/6 times 6 over 1. And then we can reduce this by cross simplifying, which equals 4 over 1, which equals 4. So they just used that alternative method. So let's go back to our exit ticket. And we have, when dividing by a fraction by a whole number, I must convert the whole number to a fraction by giving it a denominator of 1. So instead of 6, we would write 6 over 1. Instead of 15, we would write 15 over 1. So thank you very much for your attention and your hard work today. You've done an amazing job, as always, and I'm very happy to be able to teach you. I'm so proud of the hard work you're doing, and I know that as you continue to practice, you'll be great.